I've never seen any asset class release a short future version before you've listed a long version as well, which is normally to happen like simultaneously. Welcome back, YouTube. So in today's video, we're going to talk about some of the things that are going to the moon. We've been talking over the last few days about things like bull traps and whether or not they would actually pump the market to incentivize retail coming back in so they can sell from underneath them to raise additional cash to cover a lot of leverage positions and to repay a lot of the money that we've seen being borrowed across the board. So we're going to look at some of the new macros that are coming in, because you'll see articles saying that, oh, crypto is rebounding and we've hit the floor and, and it's all good from here. But let's see if the big money actually agrees with that. So what we have here is pretty much the real estate investing sector. And yes, I do know that hedge funds have been buying up a lot of property and stuff like that, but we cannot negate the fact that rent is increasing dramatically. This is one of the reasons why our CPI numbers are messing up and are so out of whack. And this is contributing to a great deal of the inflation that we're battling month over month. That's also shocking the market pretty much every 30 days, driving us down lower. But this here is pretty much our home price to rent ratio that we are now pretty much on par with the levels that we've seen in 2006, which was right before a big 2008 disaster that we know happened in real estate. But, no big deal here. Let's just say this is just a coincidence and it's just the result of inflation and the real estate market isn't going to implode. Let's just say that the rent has been cheap for too long and, it's about time that it catches up with inflation, right? So let's take a look at another macro. This here is our credit card interest rate. Look at that there, another straight arrow up. This is just literally everything that's pretty much going to tax us or take away money from us is literally going to the moon. But don't worry, everything is fine. So as you can see here, we are pretty much facing an all-time high, at least based off of this chart, which is at least the last 20 years. And typically we've seen some upward movement, but just like the home price to rent ratio, that is literally going to the moon. But let's just say, hey, look, that's just another coincidence. All is well. We have certainly hit the bottom here. There's going to be no liquidations and no institutions straining us and raising all the prices of our goods and services to extract us of as much money as possible. We've all bottomed out in the market and we're going to take off from here. Let's take a look at another macro. This here is our mortgage interest rates. You guys, those of you that follow my channel, we've talked about this a couple of times, but this is the mortgage interest rate that is aligning no matter what side that you're on, whether you're pretty much on the side that you're trying to buy a home or if you're trying to rent, or if you're just simply using your credit card to get by. This is all, there's no escaping this. And we see the same pattern here again, right here in this area to the moon with the mortgage interest rates. This is why I'm saying the macros are in, and the macros are not aligning with things that would incentivize like a bull market. This is massive panic on even the big money side to saying that, hey, we need to load up on cash as much as possible because we know what's coming. You have to look at what the big money is doing to kind of get an idea of where we're headed. But again, let's take a look at some more macros here. Via Bitcoin magazine, we're looking at the first short Bitcoin futures ETF, which is pretty much on par to launch tomorrow, and it's going to be available in the US. Now, we know that we use Bitcoin as an indicator for the overall crypto market, and we've seen a lot of people saying that, oh, well, people are going to start hedging with Bitcoin. That's why we got that rally today. Great optimism here, but we're looking at a lot of the macros and what the institutions, and primarily what I believe probably is the SEC, they're really trying to drive Bitcoin into the dirt. I've never seen any asset class release a short future version before you've listed a long version as well, which is normally to happen like simultaneously, or simply having nothing to balance that pressure. So pretty much what they're doing is opening the door saying, hey, if you want to short the hell out of Bitcoin, come on over. We can certainly do that for you. What about if we want to go long on Bitcoin? Well, we don't have anything to offer you just yet. So no spot ETFs, but you can short all day long. So that's going to be something interesting to check out for this week. But let's take a look at a couple more macros here. This here is the NASDAQ. And as we know that 20% is often used as the indicator of, a bear market territory, or that we're certainly in a bear market. We have the NASDAQ here, which is pretty much dancing with the 200-day moving average for the last 5 years. This is the 5-year 200-day moving average. And this is where the NASDAQ is right now. 21-day, 72-day, 50-day are all in a free fall with absolute zero evidence of a reversal or any fixture or solutions to the macros here. But again, let's take a look at another macro. This here is the infamous S&P, and as you can see here over the last 5 years, we are pretty much directly on top of our 200-day moving average for the last 5 years. And you can see that the last time we were here was around the time of COVID. So this is pretty much the time we broke that 200-day, and we pretty much had a free fall down here. And when did we get that reversal? In the time of COVID, when they said that, hey, don't worry, we're going to make it rain money. All is going to be well. Everybody's going to get checks and everything's going to be good. And then that's what happened. We pretty much rebounded and we continued our pathway to the moon. But this time, that raining money thing is not going to be an option. This is why I made this video here, just to kind of give you an idea, because I know there's a lot of hype and hopium and stuff out there, but you have to look at the macros and look at things in totality. So I said, let me put everything that's going on here in one video so that you guys can have a point of reference. Am I saying this to say don't buy anything now or stuff like that? Well, I can't tell you when to buy, but I will say that all of these entries that we're seeing now, especially S&P being at the 200-day moving average, NASDAQ being at the 200-day moving average, Bitcoin being around 20,000, a little below, Doge flirting with like 5 cents, Ethereum flirting with like 1,000. These are all great entries for where I believe all of these positions are going to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now. It is, in my opinion, it will be hard to lose money in these positions at these prices. I'm not saying by any means that these are terrible entries, but I'm also saying that for expectation purposes and for money allocation purposes, you should consider these macros in this video. You know your timing, you know your financial situation, so take that into consideration when you are investing and allocating how much and to what when you're considering expanding your portfolio. And keep in mind, I want to go over one more short with you. I talked about this in my other video and I posted this on Twitter. Goldman Sachs said that this is the second highest amount in their history that they've seen as far as the levels that they're seeing shorting right now. That is not a bullish anticipation on the market, especially not in the near term. Keep that in mind. We're going to monitor the macros. We're going to monitor all of the entry points and stuff like that. Again, these entries, I love all of them. These are terrific, terrific entries. Do not get me wrong. But please don't let media and all that kind of stuff spoon feed you BS so that you can potentially get in a situation where you could have gotten either a better entry or they end up bull trapping it and driving the price even lower. Because we looked at multiple different industries in this video, and they're pretty much all saying the same thing. It's a very common phrase that the house never loses, so just kind of keep that in mind as far as what the big money is doing. I hope this video finds you well. Like the video if you found any value. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. Send the video to a friend if you haven't as well, so that they can check in on the macros. And again, when you subscribe, you're supporting the channel at absolutely no cost to you. I appreciate all of you. Thank you, and until next time.